Over the course of human history, seekers have spoken of a basic reality beyond normal awareness, the very ground of existence itself. Kashmir Shaivism expresses this basis by means of the interaction between Shiva and Shakti consciousness and its natural power always involved in cosmic dance. All that is depends on this relationship's foundation. Unlike customs stressing either male transcendence or female immanence, Kashmir Shaivism acknowledges their fundamental non-duality. Shiva is the eternal awareness inside which all experience takes place, the pure consciousness. Shakti appears as dynamic energy creating all things. They together make an unbreakable union, two sides of the same reality. The way we try to understand this relationship with our small intellect strikes me as funny. We speak Shiva and Shakti as though talking about two distinct people enjoying coffee someplace in the cosmos. But their oneness surpasses all duality, which paradoxically complicates their description. What do you call before words? Their interaction gives rise to the universe consciousness and energy in constant expression. Mapped over 7 energy centers, mapping our path from limited to boundless consciousness. This relationship shows itself not only cosmically, but also inside each of us. You may be asking, therefore, why 7 centers, why not 4 or 8 ancient customs across civilizations came at this sevenfold framework, independently implying they aren't random splits, but rather experiential insights of consciousness in its various forms. Either way, these hubs offer an extraordinarily helpful map. Every center is a state of awareness, with its own unique way of seeing reality. Focusing mostly on survival awareness in the base center stays contracted and sees the world as solid material. Many consider this core as inferior or unspiritual, but this overlooks something crucial. All other growth depends on this grounding in physical reality. Usually when someone says they are too spiritual for fundamental needs, they are compensating for insecurity than showing progress. Genuine spiritual growth embraces all centers instead of rejecting any of them. Awareness moving to the second center changes perception from flowing components to stiff materialism. As limits loosen, creativity stirs. Those who are naturally in tune here sometimes show artistic ability by seeing flowing energy under material appearances. They perceive opportunities when others see only reality. But be careful to romanticize this degree. Increased emotional turmoil brings improved creativity. People who mostly work from this center frequently find it difficult to set emotional boundaries in pragmatic concerns. The artistic temperament has a shadow side. The third core acknowledges Maya, the creative force producing seeming diversity from fundamental oneness. The world seems more like projection or illusion than separate entities. This stage is marked by personal force and dynamism. Many spiritual seekers are obsessed with this degree, relishing newly acquired power, while thinking themselves more evolved than they actually are. The ego enjoys co-opting spiritual ideas. How many enlightened teachers have lost grace due to power misuse? This center offers real knowledge but risky temptations. Genuine spiritual awakening starts when energy lights the heart center. Here one encounters reality as manifestations of consciousness itself. What seemed outside dissolves into global consciousness. As the line separating self and other fades, compassion flows spontaneously. Though it might be lovely, this also causes great vulnerability. Opening the heart is opening to both happiness and pain. Many people shy away from this openness, choosing cerebral spirituality above the chaos of compassion. True heart awakening is not floating above human experience in detached happiness. It is feeling everything more intensely. The throat center offers more refinement. Consciousness no longer seems to be playing, but rather expressing via forms. Instead of exchanging information, communication becomes transmission of truth. Those working from this center communicate words with transforming power beyond their literal meaning. The third eye, the sixth center, opens to intuitive vision. Everything is permeated by consciousness, which eliminates any need for fundamental separation. Reaching amazing heights, intuition pierces appearances to see underlying patterns. I see spiritual groups sometimes fetishizing this core. People everywhere crave visions and psychic abilities. But real third eye opening is more about responsibility than pleasure. Recognizing beyond appearances means recognizing others' suffering and potential, clearly thereby generating moral duty to react suitably. At last, all differences at the crown center vanish into pure awareness. No cosmos exists apart from consciousness. Only consciousness survives. This is total awareness when seeker and sought see their non-difference. Simple to imagine, almost impossible to understand without first-hand experience. The mind cannot understand what surpasses it. Words fall short in pointing toward silent truth. Yet ironically, we have to use language to suggest what transcends them. This metamorphic path is started by the awakening of Kundalini Shakti dormant energy at the base of the spine. Activated, this energy travels up the central channel, lighting every center and broadening awareness. Unlike progressive techniques generating incremental change, Kundalini awakening typically moves dramatically, delivering fast change with notable difficulties. Here we have to stop to discuss spiritual materialism, the inclination to gather experiences like trophies. My Kundalini climbed higher than yours, which creates yet another ego game. With classes claiming to awaken your Kundalini in one weekend, the spiritual market offers Kundalini awakening as a commodity. This commercialization overlooks something basic. Genuine waking is still erratic and usually inconvenient. Powerful energy awakening brings previously unconscious material to the surface for assimilation. What stayed inert calls for attention. This helps to explain why spiritual awakening sometimes includes emotional upheaval, strange physical sensations, and psychological disorientation. The whole system is thoroughly reconfigured. I've seen experienced meditators surprised by their own resistance when energy really starts moving. They anticipated ecstasy but got turmoil in its place. Every time theory meets practice, practice humbles theory. Common physical signs are spontaneous movements, spine electrical or heat feelings, change sleep patterns, and increased sensitivity. Psychological consequences are more intuition, emotional releases, vivid dreams, and alternating phases of clarity and bewilderment. Kashmir Shaivism offers frameworks to comprehend these events. Rather than pathologizing spiritual crises, this tradition sees them as natural parts of awakening, required purification and extension of restricted identity into universal consciousness. Often, Shaktipat starts this process. Higher consciousness's transient touch generates resonance that spreads progressively throughout the system. Touch, sight, mantra, or even at a moment the disciple's own waking can all cause this transmission. Many aspirants fixate on locating the ideal instructor to confer this transfer. But real awakening is more about receptivity than the strength of transmission. While even little interaction can change the most susceptible learner, the best teacher cannot rouse someone set on staying asleep. Should you enjoy this investigation of consciousness and energy, think about subscribing to keep getting insights linking old knowledge with modern awareness. This trip around energy centers provides more than just theoretical knowledge. It offers a path plan for direct encounter of your boundless character. The difference between intellectual knowledge and direct awareness stays crucial. Many spiritual seekers acquire information without basic change. Kashmir Shaivism stresses pratyabhijna, experiential awareness, that your actual essence is same with ultimate reality. This awareness comes not from accumulating but from removing coverings obstructing clear vision. The custom provides several ways to help one to realize this. Meditation on pure consciousness. Shiva Dhyana harmonizes the user with cosmic rhythm. Pratyabhijna techniques emphasize spotting naturally occurring moments of heightened awareness all across daily life. Spanda techniques honed awareness to minute vibration underlying all reality. Think about a sensible use. You may feel tiny vibrations all over your body when sitting in meditation. A soft pulse that becomes noticeable as consciousness hones. This pulsing is not only a physiological one, it is dynamic consciousness itself. Tuning to this vibration lets you immediately feel Shakti in motion. Some may consider these activities arcane diversions for wealthy spiritual amateurs. But more than transcendence, Kashmir Shaivism stresses integration. Unlike customs dividing sacred from ordinary, this route acknowledges all experiences as possibly changing. The enlightened practitioner discovers divine consciousness expressing via everyday tasks not limited to formal meditation. Progressively subtle methods of practice cause this integration to happen organically. Starting with organized disciplines, the practitioner progressively changes to working with subtle energy. These pave the way for direct awareness of actual nature, therefore culminating in spontaneous realization without particular techniques. Practice becomes less laborious and more natural as consciousness grows. What started as intentional approach changes into natural awareness, spreading across all tasks. Awareness itself has changed, hence you no longer have to engage in spiritual practice. Kashmir Shaivism uniquely acknowledges material reality as manifestation of the same consciousness forming our core, hence embracing both transcendence and eminence. This kind of view lets one fully participate in life and still keep enlarged awareness. Should you like these revelations on the divine dance of consciousness and energy, kindly remark detailing your own encounters with these spheres of awareness. Personal accounts offer good verification of these universal developmental tendencies. Modern studies look more and more at the physiological and psychological aspects of spiritual awakening, pointing out striking similarities with classical accounts. Researchers show quantifiable alterations in advanced meditation states, including changed brainwave patterns, hormone changes, and immune system regulation. Critics could say these events show little more than neurochemical alterations. God is a brain condition. But this reductionism operates both ways. Spiritual experiences can be reduced to brain activity. Thus, so can regular perception. All experience is either real or none. When both come from the same brain, the materialist viewpoint undercuts itself by favoring one kind of experience, ordinary, over another, mystical. How can one separate creative experience from real awakening? Integration and stability reveal authenticity. Compared to lasting modification of vision, temporary heightened experiences come readily. True awakening is your normal state, not exceptional experience, transcending certain activities or settings. Genuine growth is shown by more compassion, less reaction, sharper awareness, spontaneous insight, and natural presence. These traits show as signs of enlarged awareness rather than by effort. Universal traits show via individual personality when limiting identification fades. The path via energy centers is not one of linear development, but rather one of increasing rings of consciousness. While learning via increasing awareness, earlier stages stay reachable. Though it seems permeable, the physical world still exists. It shows consciousness as its substance instead of being solid and separate. Some will find this description disturbingly magical. Modern thinkers like straightforward answers, free of contradiction or enigma. Still scientifically unexplained, is consciousness itself even ordinary waking awareness? Centuries of philosophical and scientific research have not resolved the difficult issue of consciousness. Maybe instead of dismissing archaic customs, directly addressing consciousness, one should give them great thought. Kashmir Shaivism provides exact phenomenological depictions of stages of enlightenment. Rather than abstract allusions to enlightenment, this tradition charts particular changes in perception, energy, and affiliation. For those negotiating area outside traditional experience, this accuracy is quite helpful. The custom also recognizes difficulties in addition to advantages. Rapid Shakti increase could cause obstructions in the subtle body regions of constrained energy linked to unresolved psychological issues. The ensuing pressure offers possibility for cleansing as well as possibility for transient discomfort. These difficulties account for historical focus on preparation and direction. Purification techniques let energy flow unimpededly. Ethical rules stop ego constructions, inhibiting greater awareness from being reinforced. As consciousness grows beyond familiar borders, teacher direction helps to negotiate uncharted territory. Notwithstanding the difficulty, Shakti awakening provides unmatched transformation. Every energy center energized offers new possibilities, insights, and levels of experience. The heart opens empathy outside of own limits. The throat offers artistic expression in line with universal truth. The third eye opens to intuitive insight beyond surface. The crown reveals your own essence as unlimited consciousness directly recognized. These are direct experiences accessible by appropriate knowledge and activity rather than theoretical ideas. The path via energy center maps reflects changes in real experience rather than abstract theory. Changes in how reality seems minute by minute. Think about how differently each center of consciousness shapes the world. From the basic center, reality appears stable, fixed, and maybe menacing. From the heart center, that same reality seems as expressions of consciousness, brimming with beauty and meaning, even among sorrow. From the crown center, all appearances are consciousness itself, neither frightening nor defensive need. These points of view are not rival ideas about reality, but rather progressive unveilings of its essence, each revealing a deeper aspect of what seems straightforward from more constrained angles. Each awakening increases the range of perception without discounting prior experiences, much as shifting from black and white to full-spectrum vision. The Shakti technique slowly harmonizes diverse points of view into a whole vision that includes rather than excludes. The enlightened person fluidly navigates among degrees of awareness, responding suitably to pragmatic issues while keeping knowledge of their final essence. Genuine enlightenment is set apart by this flexibility from spiritual bypass. The enlightened person participates more fully with all aspects of experience, including daily events, rather than using higher viewpoints to escape practical reality. Kashmir Shaivism thus provides not escape from life, but fuller involvement in its mystery and beauty, not transcendence of mankind, but knowledge of its infinite depth. The holy we seek is not outside of normal experience, but rather its very nature. Consciousness expresses through countless forms, yet is unaltered in core. Recognizing this reality changes spiritual practice from one of effort toward future accomplishment to one of finding present wholeness. What more freedom could be than knowing we are already what we want? What deeper satisfaction than finding our identity with the awareness creating all reality? The dance of Shiva and Shakti, of consciousness and energy, goes on forever, creating the universe, moment by moment. Our spiritual awakening is not the attainment of anything new, but rather the awareness of what has always been. Our fundamental nature is that very consciousness energy making up all reality. Not accomplishment or acquisition, but awareness of fundamental nature beyond all boundary defines the highest goal of human existence. This awareness provides universal base and distinctive expression, individual satisfaction, and cosmic connection. What does this knowledge provide for our divided society? Perhaps most significantly, it offers basis for real compassion, based not on moral duty, but on direct awareness of underlying oneness. Barriers disappear and empathy flows freely when we see others as reflections of the same consciousness forming our own existence. The path via the energy centers charts group potential as well as personal change. The group field moves toward more harmony and awareness as more people awaken to enlarged consciousness. Every one of us who understands their fundamental nature helps to arouse universal awareness inside humankind. Right awareness comes from clear vision in right now, not from experience accumulation. The ultimate spiritual practice is direct knowledge of consciousness as the substance of present awareness, not special procedures or exceptional experiences. Awakening happens spontaneously when we see what looks via our eyes instead of what seems in front of them.